What is up, guys? It's Ace Chapman. I am here with another quick case study call. You may recognize this guy from a call we did before about a deal we closed early in the year. And now we're here talking about a whole another type of deal, which is something that we're doing that's new. We're working with some clients. Some of the clients have already bought their own business. They may own an offline business, and they're moving towards that I quadrant. Anybody who's read Rich Dad, Poor Dad knows about the quadrants. You've got, the employees, you've got the self-employed, the business owners, and then you have the real goal, which is becoming an investor. And so that's what we're starting to move people towards. And so instead of operating the deal and having to deal with actually running the business, it's getting those same really great returns, which is what attracts people to buying an existing business, but it really acting as an investor. So I want to welcome Jason. Thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me again, Ace.
Yeah. So let's go all the way back. You started working with us. It's actually, we were just talking about the fact that it's been right at a year. We ended up, so let's talk about coming in. I know, when we first started, you didn't really know what kind of deal you're gonna be buying. You were deciding between like offline, and at that point, not even really deciding. You were like, hey, I'm looking at some offline deals. And then we ended up doing something online. Talk a little bit about that transition, thinking about it offline and then switching over to really focusing and closing on an internet deal.
Okay, yeah. The whole process began with me wanting to buy an offline business. I was not even thinking about online businesses because I have absolutely no experience in that. But the more we got into the process, and you kind of started pushing a little bit, saying, hey, you got to just take a look at these online deals. The valuations are pretty crazy. So the more we started looking at it, and I started checking out the numbers, it didn't take long to really come to the realization that it was a no-brainer to do an online deal. The valuations are 2 to 3 times net earnings. You can pay the deal off in a couple of years or even less if you're able to grow it. So it was an easy decision for me to finally come to. And along with that, there's a lot less headaches, it seems, with the online business. You don't have to worry about employees. For most of the businesses, you don't have to worry about carrying inventory, things like that. There's so many options out there for service type businesses and drop ship type businesses and affiliate marketing type businesses. So it's just the sky's the limit, pretty much, it seems like.
Yeah. And I do get those questions. A lot of the case studies we've been doing here recently have been internet deals. Actually, we did just close an offline deal we're going to be talking about here in the next video. But there is a difference. I think some of it is just lifestyle and goals. And so that's what I try to match people with. For some people, I listen to them and they're telling me about what they want their life to look like, what they would like out of a business and just their financial goals. And, I want people to make sure that they're getting something that's in line with where they're headed. So there are a lot of people, because there are some benefits to the offline deals. And there are a lot of people that those are the exact right match for. And then there are plenty of folks where, that we've been closing a lot of the internet deals. And to what you mentioned, I do think that right now internet deals are cheap. When you compare the fact that, you can buy an offline deal 2 times and the internet deal 2 times, and you've got a lot of intrinsic benefits as far as location independence, all that stuff, it makes those deals pretty attractive. So let's talk about getting comfortable. You mentioned, you had no experience in that world. We all know that there are plenty of scams out there and, that whole process. So you end up kind of coming across a deal. Talk about the nerves of, day one, you own this thing, you've sent a bunch of money somewhere, and then seeing those dollars come in and it being real.
Yeah, the first couple of weeks were pretty scary. I kept waking up every morning and I would check my traffic and check my income, and I just kept expecting for the first couple of weeks one day Google to just say, no, we don't like your site anymore, and I go online and everything's shut down. I'm not making any money and I've lost a week. But after about a month of nerves, I kind of started to get a feel for how the businesses ran, and it settled down pretty quickly. One thing that I've really learned about online businesses is that you don't have to be an expert coder or a great web designer or anything like that to run a business. One of the great things about the global marketplace now is that if you don't have a skill set, it's very cheap and very easy to reach out to somebody somewhere else in an entirely different continent to get the work done for you. You know.
Well, and I looked at the business you did buy, and I'm like, this is a great deal. There's some low-hanging fruit. You know, I wanted to invest in the deal, which I'm sure gave you some confidence. And you're like, you know what? I think I'm gonna do this whole deal myself. Thanks, but I'm gonna close this one myself. And sure enough, I mean, this thing has really grown and it's done well. Talk a little bit about just the growth from that period, especially for somebody who, like you said, that didn't have any experience in this space.
Yeah, well, I mean, with basically no experience coming in, I self-taught myself as much as I could in the first 2 months after I bought the business, and made a few small tweaks on the website. And I've had it for 8 months now or so, and it's basically about quadrupled from what it was when I bought it. So it grew, and I know that's probably a more of a rarity than a standard type investment, but it was a home run on the first shot. So that really sparked my enthusiasm, I guess, and got me back into looking into more deals now.
Yeah. And I mean, what that it basically does, if you can buy the right deal that does have some growth, maybe it doesn't quadruple, but it doubles. You know, a deal that doubles, you buy it at 2 times earnings, that basically means you bought it at 1. Now, if you're right, that is more rare where it quadruples, but that means you're buying it at a quarter. You know, you're buying it at a 0.5 multiple, which is unreal. And so that's what you got to look at. The deals where you can go in and have that impact and that kind of growth, you're getting this huge discount on the price of that business. So now let's transition to the most recent deal. You've kind of, I guess we could say, graduated. You're the operator on that deal. What made you consider kind of taking a more passive role and taking some cash and investing that in a business that somebody else was acquiring?
It's like you said, I mean, I'm trying to get into the investor quadrant now. The business I own right now is fairly passive. It still requires a few hours of work a week, but it's not completely passive. And to get to where I want to get, I realized that if I'm gonna go this route, I've gotta do more deals. One, obviously to increase my cash flow, but then 2, to diversify a little bit and diversify my risk out. So kind of just had a brain fart. You have to edit this out now.
That's totally fine. But yeah, I think that's it. You want to diversify, get into some other stuff, and get it, most importantly, into that I quadrant, which I think a lot of people just forget. A lot of times we get so focused on, I'm going to buy business, I'm going to run it, it's going to be my thing, I want to work for myself. And it's like, okay, you're still working, even if it is for yourself. And that's a great first goal. But as you transition and you kind of start to see that work, and it's honestly one of the reasons I want to invest in your deals. I invest in a lot of deals and have built a fund. And that's where I like to play. And a lot of the reasons that you just mentioned is why I focus there. It's why I do this program and connect with folks like you. And so now we're doing deals together. So that's another neat part. So talk about your plans for the future. Kind of where do you see yourself? Where do you want to go from here? And also compared to what you thought coming in to this whole thing.
Okay, so coming in, we'll start with coming in. What I was thinking was more, I guess you could almost say buying myself a job. I was looking to buy one offline business that I can run and grow and operate myself and live off the income from that. So where I'm going now is to build a portfolio of smaller businesses where maybe I'm running 1 or 2 of them, but the majority of them are passive. I'm just a passive investor where I just pick up a check every quarter or every month and listen into whoever's operating it, tell me how things are going. So it's a completely different path that I'm heading down now than where I started out. So
yeah,
but it seems to make a lot more sense. Again, I mean, the more that I do this, the more I learn. Every day I learn a little bit more and a little bit more.
Connected.
Excuse me. Going on.
Power off.
And yeah, I don't want to work for a living.
Yeah.
I want to have my money working for me.
That's not why we do this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited. We're doing some more stuff together. We're looking at other deals. We've got a couple deals that now you've got 2 deals in your portfolio. So I'm excited to do our next call a year from now and talk about the progress from today and catch up at that point. But thank you so much for jumping on, and I appreciate you taking your time now that you're a big time portfolio owner, man.
Yeah, my life is getting busier every day. All these businesses to run. And I'm hoping in 5 years, or in a year, we'll be talking again about the 5 businesses I own then. And
exactly.
The beach, I guess, is the plan.
I love it. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.